Yeah, screw it. Let's just have some fun here, people. Let's dive into some of the more recent, crazy, idealistic, unrealistic, totally out of this world to infinity and beyond Toy Story 5, baby, types of conversations that have been brought up about the Montreal Canadiens. And I say, these are nonsensical, non-fanatical, non-realitable, because today we're talking about trade proposals. You see, we had ourselves a number of discussions around the NHL's media world that discuss where the Montreal Canadiens can go out there and potentially make some moves. I'm going to leave a link in the description to two different articles, one on HabsFanatics.com and one on DonLesCoulisses.com. Because on the HabsFanatics.com article, they discuss an episode of the Poolcast, which featured Pascal Cameron and Marco Normandin, where Marco Normandin suggested a trade between the Montreal Canadiens and the Calgary Flames. Meanwhile, the article on DonLesCoulisses.com will go over what was said by Renaud Lavoie on Real Kipper and Bourne, talking about a Montreal Canadiens trade package for Sidney Crosby. Hell yeah, folks, let's get into two big trade packages here and combine them into one because I'm feeling kinda generous today. I don't want to make separate videos talking about the same arguments over and over again just to churn out even more content. This is essentially the same video with a few different elements, essentially. It's the exact same car, but with a new coat of paint. So, let's go back over onto HabsFanatics.com and read what was discussed on the Poolcast in regards to Montreal and Calgary Flames center Nazem Kadri. What would you give up to get him? Pascal Cameron asks on the Poolcast. I think as a second-line center, he'd be perfect. I really think he'd be a good fit with the Canadiens, but it'll cost a lot. And I wouldn't be ready to overpay him, necessarily, since there's no rush this year. I'd offer, let's say, a first-round pick, Adam Engstrom, who has good potential, and Josh Waugh, whom we kind of want to move. Marco Normandin says. So how about that, eh? Adam Engstrom, Josh Waugh, and a first for Nazem Kadri. My immediate instinct says, hey, why would Calgary accept that? Like, I don't know if Josh Waugh and Adam Engstrom as prospects are big enough, or not big enough, but like, if they have the star power at this point in their careers to justify a Nazem Kadri trade, because really, you think about what the Calgary Flames would be doing here. If they traded away Nazem Kadri, they would be totally going balls to the wall, Gavin McKenna come over here, baby, this season. Nazem Kadri is one of the only bright spots they have on that team at the moment. So if this team even approaches the idea of trading him away, you obviously know they're down bad. I don't know if Josh Waugh, Adam Engstrom, and a first-round pick is enough. Sure, you can say what you want about whether or not they actually are good prospects or not. Josh Waugh, I think, has some potential, let's just say. Adam Engstrom, I think, has a lot more potential, to be fair. But I do have this bubbling idea that's like, if Nazem Kadri is available, I would not be surprised if there was another NHL team out there that will be willing to overpay. Like the other team we had discussed this summer as a potential Nazem Kadri trade-waving destination in Vancouver. The Canucks have their own center issues, and if Nazem Kadri is available and that's what Kent Hughes is offering, a first, Engstrom and Waugh, I think Vancouver would have a very easy time upping that price and saying, hey, we really need that guy. We really need him. How's a Tom Willander sound? He's a lot better than Adam Engstrom. We'll also give you a first-round pick in another year and another guy because we really need to get this trade done. I think this package in particular for Montreal, if it goes through, it's amazing. I'd definitely do that. First-round pick, Josh Waugh and Engstrom for Kadri? Yes, absolutely. Solve that second-line center issue and give Ivan Demidov a talented center like Kadri to play with. That sounds like a great idea. But if it doesn't work in Calgary, let's head over to donlescoulisses.com, because this piece by Marc-Olivier Cook dives into what was discussed by Renaud Lavoie on Real Kipper and Bourne. The Canadiens like David Reinbacher, but to get Sidney Crosby from Pittsburgh, I have a feeling that Kent Hughes would be willing to let his D-man go. Renaud Lavoie specifically mentions Reinbacher and draft picks as potential acquirable assets for the Penguins. And this is a lot more loose. Reinbacher and draft picks. Okay, yeah, we'll send you 7 sevenths and 3 sixes on top of that. How about that? Plus David Reinbacher for Sidney Crosby. Pay up, Kyle. Like, no, obviously that's not going to happen. You would have to probably include some other prospects in there as well. The Montreal Canadiens might not be in a position to say, yeah, we're willing to send you roster players that are middle to top 6 caliber guys for Sidney Crosby. Because if Crosby is getting traded, then you can say the exact same thing about Pittsburgh. They're going balls to the wall rebuild. They are shipping out Malkin yesterday if they are sending away Sidney Crosby to the Montreal Canadiens. They're finding a way to get rid of Erik Karlsson. They're finding a way to get rid of Chris Letang. Kyle Dubas is going to go balls to the wall to acquire as many draft picks and prospects as possible. High quality, low quality, medium quality, whatever. You know, the scouting department in Pittsburgh, they're really trying to get things going over there. So that all of a sudden becomes their new priority. So David Reinbacher, yeah, that's a good starting place. Is he the only prospect you include if you're Montreal? I'd honestly disagree. I don't think that Reinbacher and just a bunch of picks would get it done unless those picks were all like first-round caliber assets. It's going to be really interesting to see if Kent Hughes has the biggest leverage in the world in any Sidney Crosby trade discussions if the guy ends up getting traded for absolutely nothing in the same way that we saw Claude Giroux, for example, go from Philly to Florida. Vladimir Tarasenko go from wherever it was that he was to Florida. Was it Ottawa? I think it was Ottawa at that time. Yeah. And then, you know, Mitch Marner. He got traded for essentially nothing. I'm sorry, Nick Waugh, but you're not that much. Mitch Marner got traded for very little because everybody knew he was going to go there. To Vegas, of course. So, if Sid is in a position where he is in a available trade market position, then okay, then at that point, Montreal might need to step their game up. But if he wants to get traded to Montreal only, then maybe David Reinbacher in like 2 seconds actually gets it done. Who really knows? Like, if Kent Hughes knows that Crosby is only willing to go to his team in a new scenario, he doesn't want to go to Colorado, he doesn't want to play in Avalanche Town, he doesn't want to go to LA, because for some reason people were talking about that, then maybe it is just David Reinbacher and some picks. Maybe it is cheaper than we thought it would be. Imagine telling somebody back in 2023 when David Reinbacher was drafted over Matvei Mishkov. Imagine telling somebody at that point, yeah, you see him? That guy taken 5th overall by Montreal? That's going to be the big fish that Montreal uses to get Sidney Crosby in a trade. And Habs fans, or fans in general, would be like, wait a minute, what? Wow, that means that Reinbacher becomes amazing, right? If he's worth the value of Crosby. No, it's just because Crosby wants to go to Montreal, and he's, like, injured all the time. Everybody else is good. Everybody else becomes a good player. Yeah, Demidov, that guy, you draft him next year. He looks really good. And Matvei Mishkov starts not playing well in Philadelphia because of Rick Tocchet. Okay, I'm going to stop. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about these Canadiens trade proposals for top centers in the NHL. Nazem Kadri in Calgary, Sidney Crosby in Pittsburgh. What are your thoughts on these ideas? The articles will be linked in the description. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to hit the like button. If you didn't, the dislike button's down there for you as well. Thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.